Today we are going to talk about the placement of the 10th lord in different houses. The 10th house is a very important house because it is going to tell you a great deal about what work you are going to be engaged in this lifetime. It will give you an idea about your source of income. Well, to talk about the trines of the 10th house, the 2nd house and the 6th house, they are equally important. They are trines to this, and they will also give you a fair idea of what work you are going to do in this lifetime. The 10th house is 10th to your ascendant, which is a trine. Similarly, 10th to your 5th house is the 2nd house, and 10th to your 9th house is the 6th house. So from each trine, these houses becomes the 10th houses. So they become very important when we talk of our livelihood. So the 10th house will tell you about your name, fame, power, position, and the things that you do. It will also give you your conduct in the society, whether you are having a good name, whether you are having a bad name, whether your job is a very high profile job, or whether you are doing a job which has got no substantial existence. So well, every job is very important, everybody contributes something towards the society, but sometimes there are certain jobs where you are giving your full 100%, yet you are not getting a great deal out of it. So that everything could be seen through the placement of the 10th lord in different houses. So let's talk about its placement in the 1st house. Well friends, the ascendant is the most powerful house in the entire horoscope. Reason being, it is the Kendra and it is also the trine house. And after the ascendant, the 10th house becomes the most powerful house. So the 10th lord sitting in the ascendant makes a Kendra Trikoni Raj Yoga. So these people will accomplish a lot in life through their own efforts. They will be very well placed in their lives, and these people could attain lots of name, fame and wealth through their own efforts, through their own abilities. Talking about the 10th lord in the 2nd house. The 2nd house is the house of your family, it is the house of what you say. So it means that your work could involve a family business, or you could be engaged in a work where you have to talk a lot. It could be a sales related work or something to do with talking and explaining things to people. So this placement will again make you very powerfully strong, and it will give you lots of riches. It will give you a family which is very well placed, which is very well respected in the society, and it will give you a very sound career of finance or of sales or related to family business. Yes, it can also give you a work where you are dealing with the food industry, because from the 2nd house we intake food. So food could be another option related to the 10th house where the profession is concerned. But always keep in mind that whenever a planet is giving you some results, it should not be under affliction in the Rashi chart, because if it is in the affliction, then the results which are desired may not be felt. So 10th lord in the 3rd house. The third house is the house of your hobbies. So your hobbies could become your career, or you could be a very effective communicator. You could be in the media industry and make a great deal out of it. You could be in the communication industry, or your work could involve lots of travels. Your work could involve lots of communication, and you will be very good with that. You could be very good with your skills, and this placement also gives you your siblings who are very well placed and very well respected in the society. So this placement again gives you good position in life through your hard work, through your efforts. Gradually you will rise in life. Now the 10th lord in the 4th house. The 4th house is another important Kendra house. So again it's a very powerful Raj Yoga. So these people will get a very high position in the society. They could be a leader, they could be a politician, because this is the house of masses. So you will always gain through public. This is the house of popularity. You could be very popular. This placement also gives you a very high, you can say, high school scoring. You could be very good student in your high school, and you will see that your home would also be very posh. You could be living in a government residence, or you could be living in a home which is very well respected. So this placement will also give you a mother who is very well respected in the society, or who could be very accomplished. This placement is also good for people who are dealing with property related work, or who are having their own factories or own lands. This can also make you a transporter, because you could be having lots of transports and you could be dealing with that. This placement is also good for home related business, like you could be a interior decorator, or you could be an architect. This placement is also good for being a teacher. So there could be various professions that could come out of this placement. From here, the 10th lord is aspecting the 10th house. Again, it shows that your career could be very comfort driven, where you will excel in your career in the comforts of your home, or by being in a comfortable position. The 10th lord sitting in the 5th house is again a Kendra Trikon Raj Yoga, but the 5th house is the 8th to your 10th. So if the 10th lord is a malefic and it is sitting in the 5th house, then due to your own nature, due to your own thought process, you could not be able to stick in a job for a long time, unless the 10th lord is becoming exalted in the 5th house, or it is under some benefic influences. If neither is the case, then you could not be in a job for a long time, or you could see lots of transitions, transformations happening in your field of work. This placement is also very good for speculation work, for having wonderfully placed children. It could give you children who will be very accomplished in your life. And this placement is also very good for your learning abilities. You could be very intelligent. You could be into a business of schools. You could be a owner of schools, and you could also be a politician. You could be a very high profile politician, because the 5th house makes you a very high profile politician. This placement can also make you a entertainer. You could be in the cinema industry or in the theater industry, and you could be very famous out of it. And this placement is also very good for having a career that you desire, and you will make a lot of money through this placement, because the 10th lord is directly aspecting your 11th house from here. Now the 10th lord in the 6th house. This placement is very good for people who want to go into judiciary, who want to become a judge, or who are lawyers of high repute. And it will also give you a career in the armed forces. You could be a soldier of high repute. But if the 10th lord is not in a very comfortable position in the 6th house, then you could be engaged in these jobs at a very lower grade. So you could be serving these people, but you may not be able to attain a very high position in these jobs. And this position can also make you a doctor, or you could be engaged in the hospital industry. You could also be a healer. You could be a person who is lending loans to others. So there could be various things which can come out of it. It could give you a career which requires lots of engagement in throughout your day. So your day-to-day life becomes very you can say tough, and you could be engaged in your work throughout the day. So now the 6th house will also benefit in a great way by the placement of the 10th lord. So you will see that you will excel in competitions, and you will excel in your place of work, and where the job is, where the disease is concerned, if the 10th lord is a benefic, then you will be able to survive without any diseases. And if it is a malefic, then you will see that the disease could happen, but you will have the ability to fight that disease. So let's talk about the 10th lord in the 7th house. So this is the one of the most powerful position, because the 7th house is 10th to 10th. So the attributes of the 10th house will rise here substantially. So you will be very well placed in life. You could get a job outside your country of birth, or you could get a job which will take you to a foreign land, and you could also think of living there. So for foreign residency which is connected to your job can happen. Your spouse could be engaged in a very high profile job, or your spouse could help you with your job. And the 10th lord should not be afflicted in the 7th house, otherwise nothing will materialize, things will not materialize. So you must look for affliction. And also see the placement of the 10th lord in the D9 chart. If it is afflicted or in a weak position, then also the desired results may not be felt. So from here the 10th lord is aspecting your ascendant, so that makes you a person for whom power and status are very important aspects of his life. And now let's talk about the 10th lord in the 8th house. So it is sitting 11 places away, but the 8th house is the house of transformations, sudden changes. So you will see that the continuity will be afflicted through this, and there will be lots of sudden changes that are happening at your place of work, unless you are in the work which involves the attributes of the 8th house. If you are in the occult industry, or if you are doing some research related work, forensic related work, then the career will not be afflicted here. But if you are doing something else and the 10th lord is in the 8th house, then the career may not be very, you can say, smooth. So there will be some ups and downs related to your career, and the conduct of that person may not be up to the mark, because the 10th house also tells about your conduct, what work you are doing. So if you are not doing the right kind of work, not doing the right kind of things, then it can also cause some you can say stigma to your name. So not a very good placement, unless there is a benefic aspect happening on the 10th lord in the 8th house. Now let's talk about the position of the 10th lord in the 9th house. The 9th house is the most powerful trine, and 10th house is the most powerful kendra. So here it is making dharam karam adhipati yoga. If the 9th lord is also sitting here, then the yoga fructifies. These people could be engaged in work which they desire to do, and they will become very famous out of it. But this yoga becomes more powerful if this is happening in the 10th house. But here it is happening in the 9th house, no problem. Still you will do well in life, and fortune will favor you a lot, and your father could play a role in your career, or your career could involve teaching, preaching, professorship, or traveling to foreign lands, or traveling to pilgrimages. So your work could be related to that. You could be a priest also. So but the thing is that if the 10th lord is a malefic, and if it is placed in the 9th house, then the career will not be a smooth ride, because the 9th house is 12th to your 10th, and if it is a malefic, then during the dasha of the 10th lord, the person may have to quit his job. So this is how the 9th house placement of the 10th lord is not very cool. But if the 10th lord is a benefic, then the problem will not happen, because benefics, they never cause any upsurge whenever and wherever they are sitting. So let's talk about the 10th lord in the 10th house. The 10th house is a very powerful placement for the 10th lord to be in. You will rise in status, you will attain a very powerful status, very powerful position of repute, of respect, and this should not be afflicted, keep in mind. And the 10th lord should not go in 6, 8, 12 houses in the D9 chart, then also the things will not stick. Initially you may see a rise in your status, but later on it will be taken away if the 10th lord is in the 6, 8 or 12 houses in the D9 chart. So D9 chart should be kept aside. You should keep one eye on the D1 chart and another eye on the D9 chart. Then you will be able to predict things better. So the 10th lord in the 10th house is a very powerful position. You will attain name, fame, money, position, everything, and you could also be in a government job or very well placed in the government sector. Now the 10th lord in the 11th house is again a very powerful position. You could be engaged in a very high profile job which is giving you very high salary, and you could be in a job that you really desired. Sometimes you could be in a dream job, I will say, and this placement will also make you have a big social circle, deal with large group of people, and you could be in the field of marketing, selling, mainly marketing or advertising. That can also be the possibility. So now we'll talk about the placement of the 10th lord in the 12th house. So the 12th house will give you a spiritual career, or it will give you a career in a foreign land, and if you are not in a foreign land, then you could be a doctor, you could be a police person working in jails, or it could give you a career in navy, merchant navy, and this can make you a dancer also. If the 10th lord is a benefic, then you could have a dancing career, because the 12th house is also about your feet. It is the house of your spirituality, it is the house of the things that you imagine in your dreams. So it can also give you a career of writing or creating something, especially if the 10th lord and the 12th lord and the 5th lord, they are connected. You could be a writer. So friends, this was all about the placement of the 10th lord in different houses. Stay connected, and I'll see you very soon.